Your email flow automations generate on average around 20% of your total store revenue. That is a ton of cash being generated on autopilot if you've got them set up the right way. Look, there are so many different flows you can build out, and if you're new to Klaviyo, it can feel a bit overwhelming trying to figure out which flows actually matter for your business. You don't want to be wasting too much time setting up the incorrect flows or overpaying someone to do it for you. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact flows you need to focus on for each stage of your business. Whether you're pulling in less than 50K per month, scaling past 250, or already at that milli a month stage, this video is going to break it down nice and simple for you. If you don't know me, my name's Kieran. I've worked with over 25 plus e-commerce brands, from scrappy startups to brands doing 6, 7, and even 8 figures per year. Through this, I've seen which flows actually deliver the most bang for your buck and which flows you can skip depending on what stage your business is currently at. So if you're ready to get to it, stay with me. This video is going to be a banger.
Okay guys, let's run through this. What flows do you need depending on each stage of your store? And like I said, we're going to be running through everyone here. Maybe you're just starting, doing less than 50K per month, or you're scaling way past that, all the way up to over $1 million per month. This video is going to give you a lot of clarity, and it's going to tell you what things to actually focus on to get the most bang out of your buck, because the worst thing is wasting too much time or resources on the wrong thing. And at each stage, there is only a few things you should really be focusing on, especially when it comes to flows. Now, just something to note, this video is going to be very high level. If you really want the nitty gritty of how to set these flows up, which emails to add in, and how to actually design these emails, I've got a bunch more videos on the channel that covers all of that. So yeah, let's run through it. If you don't know me, my name's Kieran. I actually do this for a living, Klaviyo, email, and SMS marketing. Done so for 25 plus e-commerce brands. And I've got a bunch of social media down in the description where you can check me out as well. So let's run through this. Okay, first off, some things to know, and this should give you some context on how these flows actually behave. First thing to note is that naturally flow automations weaken as the flow goes on. So they are very highly dependent on the amount of traffic volume that you've got flowing through your store. So if you got lots of traffic, you're able to extend these flows a lot longer than normal. But if you got so much or smaller amounts of traffic, you may only need a very short 3 to 4 email flow. A really good example here is the welcome flow. So if you don't know the welcome flow is when someone opts into your pop-up and they get entered into this email automation that tries to convert them into a first-time customer. Now, with this flow, you have something that's called a flow filter. So when someone actually makes a purchase, they get kicked out. They get kicked out of the flow. They're no longer needed into this welcome flow because they've already made a purchase. They're a first-time customer. Now, what this happens is each email that you send in this welcome flow, more and more people get kicked out. And these are the really high-intent customers. These are the people down here that needed a little bit more nurturing. But down here, obviously the engagement weakens because you're kicking out all the really high intent, highly engaged people that's gone off and made a purchase. So going on to some of the last emails in this welcome flow, there's a lot less people, and that also means they're a lot less engaged and a lower intent prospects, if you say. So what that also means is you get a lot lower open rate and click rate. And the danger of this is that if you build out your emails too long, well, we'll show you, it will actually start hurting your email deliverability because your email automations will keep on sending those emails anyway. They don't know who's active or who's highly engaged, who's not so engaged to your brand and opening up your emails. So if you are at a point where you've got too many emails set up and you're not getting any purchases on those last few emails and you're getting really bad engagement rates, like under 20% open rate or lower than 1% click rate, these could start hurting your email deliverability because these emails are just going to keep sending without you really taking note of it. So that's why it's very important to set up these flow automations at a certain length, which we're going to take you through in just a second. Another thing to note is that there's some core flows in your system. These are the ones that's going to be generating the most amount of revenue and just always will be. And then you got the fluff flows, like the nice to have flows. Sure, they increase revenue marginally, but they're more utility based and they don't have as much traffic and volume coming through these flows, therefore not going to be generating enough revenue. So You'll find in this theme, we really focus on the core flows, especially when you're lower down the list. I'm still getting an e-commerce store off the floor. Whereas as you grow higher, you start adding some more of these fluff flows, or these nice to have flows. Okay, let's get to it. So you can skip along this video to each stage, but however, I highly recommend just watching all the way through, because you will gather some really good context on what things you actually need to focus on at each stage of your business. So for anyone that's literally just starting or below 50K per month, these are some things I would be focusing on. First off, these are the core flows that I would recommend in every single store. You got the welcome flow, you got the abandoned cart, checkout, abandoned browse, post-purchase, abandoned site. And if you're a store like a supplement company or have some sort of subscription that can get customers hooked on, I would highly recommend a replenishment reminder flow. So some of the main focus points, especially if you're just starting, is building your email list. This is what's gonna get you to eventually start sending those weekly campaigns and generating weekly revenue from those campaigns. So really just focus on optimizing that pop-up. I know this is more of a flow video, but the pop-up for you guys is highly important. And this diagram really just shows it off, especially with just the welcome flow. Let's just imagine you got the exact same people landing on your website compared to a low converting pop-up compared to a high converting pop-up. With a high converting pop-up, if you A/B test it and really nail down a good welcome offer, you have double the amount of people joining your email list, therefore doubling the amount of people coming into your welcome flow. And your welcome flow on average converts around 10% of those people that enter it. So if you simply double the amount of people that you're converting into your email list, you're therefore going to be generating double the amount of money from those first time customers. So please, your main focus point right here, other than those core flow automations, is really optimizing and getting this pop-up to convert as much of that site traffic into your email list as possible. And part of getting a really high conversion rate is having a really good welcome offer. So again, if you're just starting out, you really want to be nailing down like what converts most amount of people into that email list. Is it a 10% off or maybe 20% off, depending on your margins? Is it a X dollar amount off, especially if you're a high average order value type of store? Maybe if you're selling things for $1,000. 10% off would be $100. So maybe you want to do maybe $50 off. $50 sounds a bit stronger than the 10% off. So you could still convert the same amount of people or more, but saving yourself a bit more margin. Other things is, BOGO, mystery discount, giveaway, free ebook if your store allows it. These are all things you want to be A/B testing and seeing what converts the most amount of people into your email list without giving away too much margin. And like I was saying before, again, you just want to set up those very core flows, not too long, about 3 to 4 emails each. And that way you're getting the most bang for your buck and not spending too much time and resources building out these huge elaborate flows, which again, those last few emails are not going to do anything but hurt your email deliverability. So 3 to 4 emails in each, maybe a bit longer for the welcome flow, but that's about it, under 50K per month. Moving on, if you're way past that, doing anywhere between 50 and 250K per month, this is where things can start changing and where your focus points need to be. So at this stage, you can add in some other flows like the customer win back, sunset unengaged, VIP flow. Also, some other good flows is like your review request, review posted, getting more social proof back on the website to actually increase website conversion rate. Very important, and you can do that with email. This is kind of what it would look like, adding in some of those lesser important flows, especially things like the sunset unengaged. That's more of a utility flow because it's just clearing out any inactive subscribers, because by now you should have quite a lot of profiles in your system and you just want to keep that email deliverability pristine. So sunset unengaged is going to help you with that. Customer win back, that's going to help first time customers coming back and buying again. And then, like I said, the review flow, obviously having a lot of social proof and reviews on your website is very important. Now, the second focus point you want to be looking at when you're in this revenue range is those core flows we mentioned at the start. You want to actually be extending that, because if you got flows set up and the last email in your flow is still getting half decent open rates, like 38% open rate, 2.9% click rate, and people are still, like a fair amount of people are still buying off that last email, Logically, you want to be extending this. You want to be extending this by another couple emails to really be squeezing out those extra dollars and just following up those customers a bit more. Moving on to the 250 to 500K per month range. Again, you really just want to be doing more of the same. The other last two flows I would recommend setting up here is really small ones like the birthday flow and the first purchase anniversary flow. So these flows will marginally increase revenue once you've got them running and set up correctly, but they're more so about creating that customer to brand relationship and really turning your email list into a fan base. Because these are all the extra little things that obviously aren't going to be generating the most amount of revenue, but we'll just add in that extra touch, showing to your audience that you care. You're sending a birthday message, you're emailing them about the first time they purchased. Small little things like that, obviously on a large scale, do have a big effect. Also at this revenue range, you want to start A/B testing the flow automations. So again, you still want to be A/B testing the pop-up, but now you have enough traffic coming through these flows where A/B testing the welcome flow, abandoned cart, abandoned browse does start to make sense. If you try to do this back at 50K per month, you're just simply not going to have enough traffic to really find a winner in those A/B tests, or it will just take months and months to do. But with your size, I imagine by now you should have enough traffic coming through these flows where taking the time out of your day to set up these A/B tests will start to make sense. So things like the send times, delays, the copy in your emails, the design structure, where are you placing the buttons in your emails? Are you placing the design elements at the top, bottom, that type of thing? The order of email messages. So if you've got a welcome flow and you've got a brand story email and another email talking about social proof, will you make more revenue switching those emails around, showing the people the social proof email first rather than the brand story? Those type of things. You all want to be A/B testing that. Even things like discounts, having no discounts, what order in the email flow for the abandoned cart, for example, are you giving away that discount? If you add in another email there, having the discount on a bit later on, will you still be generating the same amount of placed order rate? Will you still be generating more revenue without sacrificing your margin? All these things you want to be A/B testing and start putting some focus on, especially on just the core flows, the ones that have the most amount of traffic. So again, that'll just be the welcome flow, abandoned cart, browse, that type of thing. Made a bit of a spelling error, but that's okay. You get the point. And just to reiterate what I was saying before in the last stage, you just want to keep extending these core flows. I would not be scared or hesitant to add more emails into the flows and just keep reminding customers, especially if they left something at the checkout. People these days, they've got 1,000 notifications, they've got 1,000 things going on, the baby's crying in the back door. You really want to be just following up these customers more. I wouldn't worry about being spammy at all. You're simply just increasing those customer touch points and getting those people to come back and to convert. So highly recommend just keep extending those core flows, especially if you have really decent engagement rates on the last email of whatever flow you're looking at. It's a really telltale sign that if you're still generating revenue, add in some more emails. Follow up with those customers a bit more. Highly recommend. Okay, if you're still with me and you're doing over 500K per month or more, again, you still want to be doing more of the same, but now you really wanted to take the next step. And the next step is almost like revamping your flows and actually personalizing them and segmenting customers down, depending if, for example, the browse abandonment flow, if they viewed a product in, let's say, the t-shirt section, you want to have your emails and follow-up emails surrounded around t-shirts. What makes t-shirts so great? What other different types of t-shirts may they be interested in? Same if they, viewed an item, but it was on the shorts collection, then your follow-up emails want to be tailored around shorts. With this amount of volume and traffic coming into your website, it starts to make sense to go to this time and effort to really segment this down. Second thing is really thorough A/B testing. Again, you want to be A/B testing the pop-up, core flows, and even on the campaign side of things. Important to remember, a small A/B test that exposes an extra 3K per month, it's an extra 36K in annual revenue. And being at this size, being with this much complexity, so there'll be heaps and heaps of these small little A/B testing opportunities that will expose an extra 3 to 5K per month, that type of thing. I would almost like hire someone just dedicated to do this. So that's something I would really look into as well, especially with this amount of volume and amount of profiles, even things like email list cleaning and stuff like that. Just making sure you're on top of everything because it's quite a lot to manage. Okay guys, if you're still with me, thanks for watching. If you want to work with me, obviously there is a Calendly link where you can book in and we can talk about it. I'm willing to give away a free action plan and 2 free email campaigns that you can send out to your email list. All you need to be is over 50K per month and looking to scale your brand to new heights. Thanks for watching guys. Hope that was valuable and cheers.